Hi, my name is Gayatri and I will be your trainer for this session. Hi and welcome to a quick introduction to Docker. This is lesson 7 and in this lesson we are going to see how to create a PHP and a MySQL container. We saw something very similar in our PHP MyAdmin session. So if you haven't seen that session, I'll link it in the description box below. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing that we need to do is create our index.php file. So this is going to be a very simple PHP file that's going to connect to a MySQL server and insert some dummy records into a table called counter. Alright, so in this file, you don't really need to worry about the PHP code. What you need to note is the database host name, the database user, and the database password. So the database host name is DB, so keep that in mind. The username is root and the password is desk123 and the database name is countdb. So keep these 4 values in mind because we're going to use them very soon. Alright, so let's save this file and exit. So right now we have no containers. Let's go ahead and create a MySQL container. We have already seen this command before in our PHP MyAdmin session. So it's docker run -d -name MySQL. So that's the name we are giving this container. And since we don't want to enter the container and change the root password, we are going to set the environment variable inside the container, that is MySQL _root _password, and we are setting our root password. So this is the same password that we are using in our index.php file, and we are using the -e flag to set that environment variable. Alright, so our MySQL container is ready. Let's ensure that it's running. So docker logs and the container name, that's MySQL. So let's wait for this container to start. Alright, so the MySQL container is running. Now let's execute the SQL command to create the database. You can either enter the container and execute the command, or you can execute the command directly via the CLI. So I'm going to use the docker exec command. We have seen this command before many times in our previous sessions. Docker exec -ti and the container name, which is MySQL, and the command that I want to execute inside this container. So I want to execute the command MySQL -h localhost -u root -p test123 and -e the SQL command that I want to execute. That's create database countdb. Alright, so the database has been created. Next, let's grant our root user enough permissions and access rights to execute commands in our database. So that's also done. Okay, so now the next thing that we need to do is create the table. So we are going to create the table counter in the countdb database, and this table has got just 2 fields. One is an ID field, which is a primary key and auto increment, and the next is a data field, which is just a simple varchar. Okay, so our database is ready, our table is ready. Now let's go ahead and create a PHP container. So this is a PHP container which has got the Nginx web server running. Okay, so we're going to execute the command docker run -tid --link MySQL :database. So what this --link does is it's telling Docker that this container is linked to the MySQL container, but we're going to give the MySQL container an alias inside our PHP container, and that alias is DB. And this is why our database host in the index.php file is DB, because we are using that name of the MySQL container. So we are not using MySQL directly, we are using the alias that we have given, that's DB. So docker run -tid --link MySQL :db -p 8181:80, that's the port 8181 on the host machine that's mapped to port 80 inside the container. And then we are using the -v flag. So with the -v flag, we are going to map the present working directory to the var www.html inside the container. So this is a mapping that we are doing. Why are we mapping the present working directory? Because our index.php file was created on our host machine. So our host machine folder we are mapping to var www.html inside the container. And then we have our image name, which has got Nginx and PHP configured. Alright, so our PHP container is also ready. Let's do a Docker PS. So we have two containers running. One is MySQL, one is PHP. Everything looks good. Let's browse localhost colon 8181. So I'm going to use the command line browser curl to browse. You can always use the web browser, and you can see that my database is being updated. My table is being updated. Yeah. So the index.php script is talking to the MySQL container using the DB alias, and it's using the root username and the test123 password, and it is accessing the database and the table that we have already created in that MySQL container. Okay, so this looks good. Now let's enter our MySQL container and confirm that this data is actually in the container. So let's log in into the container. And execute show databases. So we see our count DB database. Let's enter the database. And let's ensure our table is there. So our table is also there. That's the counter table. And let's ensure that our records are also in the table. Yes, we see all the records in the table and everything looks good. So now all that we need to do is clean up our Docker daemon. So you can go ahead and delete your PHP container. So docker rm-f and delete the PHP container. Remember that we are executing docker rm-f and the container ID or the container name, because -f will ensure that if the container is running, it will forcefully remove the container from the daemon. If you just give docker rm, then if the container is running, you will get an error saying that you cannot remove a running container. So if you don't want to use the -f option, you have to first execute docker stop and the container name or the container ID, and then do a docker rm and the container name or the container ID. So we're all good. Our Docker daemon is clean, and with this we come to an end of this session. Thank you very much for your time and see you soon. Bye-bye. If you want to learn more about Docker or any other platform or software, you can always visit our website shri.cc, where we have different lessons for different platforms and software. So the duration for these lessons are different depending on the level of depth that you want. So if you just want to get an idea of the course, we have such sessions for you. If you want to go deeper, you know the basics, you just want to go deeper into it, we have such sessions for you too. So feel free to contact us via our website, which is www.shree.cc, sree.cc. So thank you very much for your time. Hope this quick video gives you an idea or helps you get started or keeps you curious enough to watch the other episodes. See you soon. Bye-bye. If you like this video, don't forget to click that thumbs up button and share this video with your friends. And also click that subscribe button and the bell icon so that you get notified every time we release a new lesson.